This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 674 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, makers of Summer Games and Summer Games Plus electrolytes. Beat the heat with Summer Games. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Western Radio Show, episode number 113. Steve Kutie joins Tammy and Alan to talk about getting circles correct, whether it's for dressage or reining, and some interesting insight into the unique challenges when competing in two such diverse disciplines. But first, let's hear from our sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products, maker of Summer Games and Summer Games Plus electrolytes. How is Summer Games different from other electrolyte products? Summer Games Plus contains the same electrolyte formulation as Summer Games Electrolyte, which was originally formulated for the horses competing at the 1996 Olympics. The formulation was based on the results of research conducted in anticipation of the Games, which were held in Atlanta, Georgia, known for its hot, humid summers. Summer Games mimics the composition of equine sweat, supplying the horse with the exact amounts and ratios of electrolytes relinquished in sweat. Summer Games Plus contains no sugar, like many popular commercial electrolyte supplements. Summer Games Plus also contains a buffering agent that helps create a soothing gastric environment. This is especially important for horses subjected to the stresses often related to top performance, such as exertion, transportation, and unfamiliar stabling atmospheres. Ask for Summer Games and Summer Games Plus electrolytes at your local tack and feed supplier, or visit kppusa.com. Now, on with today's tip.
But you know, Alan, I know a lot of my students of my own would really disagree with how easy loping circles are. I have personally gone out and got so frustrated with some and put traffic cones in a circle and said, that is a circle, you know, because sometimes even the simplest things like loping a really nice, pretty round circle is really a difficult maneuver for some people and horses.
And I've seen trainers just yelling, remember, circles are round, not square.
That's me, Alan.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember. I think that, a lot of, like my customers, I always have to tell them, I'm like, when you drive your car, and I guess if you're older, you understand it more, but you don't drive around and look at the hood ornament on your car, right? You have to look where you're going. And
Right.
When you look where you're going, that puts your body in a correct position, and then that allows you to run round circles. But if you're always looking at your horse's head and not paying attention to where you're going, your circles are never going to be round, and you just always end up trying to keep it fixed, rather than running actually a round circle. And I have to tell them, I said, I guarantee you don't have to watch your horse's head because it will be there whenever you get to where you're going. It's going to be there.
Hopefully in front of you.
Exactly, yes.
Well, there has been a time or two when I've been trying to lope circles on certain horses, and excluding Monty, he doesn't really do this, but sometimes that head disappears between their knees, and then you're off for a good ride.
Well, that happens too, a little bit with these reiners that we show sometimes is, the style and the way they're breeding them is they're pretty low-headed anyway.
Right.
So there's a lot of the time you're running your horses around there and you can't see his head.
Right. Well, as a trainer and a coach and a man who does clinics and you give riding lessons and such as that, explain to us a proper way to make circles round. Do you pick a spot somewhere in the middle, check it every now and then to see that you're the same distance from that spot, or do you just look forward the whole time and just try to imagine that round circle from there? How do you gauge a round circle when you're loping?
Well, I think that, your circle starts off with the proper setup. I always try to make sure that everybody remembers that, your inside leg is at the girth and your outside leg's back towards the rear stance. That's going to help keep the arc in the body. Your horse is looking to the inside, and you need to look with your upper body, like you have eyes in your chest, so that your body gets in that position to follow the circle. We're always taught in the dressage world is that horses can be straight on a circle, but the tendency we see is that when folks are loping around, say to the left, they want their horse to steer more left. They pull their rein across their horse's neck, which in turn pokes his nose to the outside, and he drops the shoulder and dives in, and just creates a whole bunch of other problems. But if you can keep your position correct, then we just have them focus on like 4 points on a compass, like your north, south, east, and west. So, when you're in one position, you look to the next one, and you always ride to that position. And with your horse being in that arc, that's how you hit your marks all the time. And I'm always preaching to my customers is that you don't give up free points. I mean, they draw you a road map, they tell you where to be, and when it says go through the middle and hit the middle marker, they mean in the middle and not 10 foot on either side of it. So if you can go in and pick up an extra half point or a point just because you run a round circle that goes through the middle, that's free. Your horse doesn't have to be a big stopper. Your horse doesn't have to spin around a +1, So it all has to go back to how you are as a rider.
So coming from an English beginnings, turning Western, what do you look in the future? Do you see yourself staying Western, concentrating on reining? What's your personal goal?
Well, I'm focused more probably on the reiners and the cow horse aspect of it, just because of where we live, and but right now we've got 5 dressage horses in the barn, and we're going to a dressage show here at the end of the month. So
that's just cool.
With my program, the basics it's still the same. They're all trained the same, and they don't know. I mean, we had a horse that we shown here last year and went to nationals with it, and we won the $1,000 added money reining on him, and he won a national title in dressage.
Oh gosh,
and
that's cool.
That horse was never ever worked in a dressage saddle until the day we showed him at nationals.
What breed was that horse?
This was an Andalusian.
Yeah.
And,
Big,
so we keep a variety of horses here, because I think you get burnt out if you do the same thing all the time. It doesn't make it fun. So we try to keep a mixture.
Do you find that? Well, first of all, I want to ask you this: you were talking about going to a couple of different shows and going to a reining one weekend and going to nationals in dressage and that kind of thing. Have you ever messed up and put the wrong garment bag in the trailer when you go to the dressage show, and then all of a sudden you have to start jeans and start shirts and the cowboy hat, and oh God, where are my tight breeches at?
Yeah, well, no, not so much on the equipment part of it, because I try to leave that all in the trailer, but I have shown up with the wrong horse before. So, that stuff has happened.
Well, there you go. If you just can't get enough of Tammy and Alan's southern drawl or friendly banter, you can listen every week at westernradioshow.com. And for you dressage aficionados out there, you can find expert opinions and the latest news every week at dressageradio.com. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily, because they make these podcasts possible. Today's tip was brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, makers of Summer Games and Summer Games Plus electrolytes. Ask for them by name at your local tack and feed supplier, or you can visit kppusa.com. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.